Hello, so this video is intended for demonstrating our use of our Ruminant environment. So what we're going to do here is that we're basically going to go through a use case. Specifically, this is our testing agent that's part of the GitLab that you'll actually see if you download this whole thing. And we can use that to basically test the environment itself. Because the environment is effectively a library, there's really no proper use case for it. But what it is we can basically use it for potentially an unlimited number of tasks. But I'll go over some of the salient things that you have to remember for actually using the environment. So first things first, where a lot of these requirements are not actually environmental requirements, they're part of the memory testing that we're doing here. But for our purposes, this is one of the important ones, which is a dummy vector environment, which is what we're using to initially load the environment itself. So this is part of the stable baselines package, which is part of the requirement. So if you've already installed a requirements.txt, you should have this already. In addition to that, this is our actual Ruminant environment. So it's being imported from the local area. It's being imported as a Ruminant environment. And we're also importing a bunch of different stuff from stable baselines just so we have algorithms already available to us that we can implement. So the rest of this stuff is just data accesses. There's nothing that says you have to do this, but we have provided some very handy files, trace files specifically if you actually want to take a look at different traces and run these environments. And then when you actually set up the environment itself, where we've done it here is we have a dummy vector environment, which is just say an unfilled environment that meets the standards of stable baselines. And then we actually call the Ruminant environment itself. And it only has two actual parameters. One is the data frame containing the initial frame file. So the data frame sorted in this manner with these columns. In theory, you could practically get a data frame from just about anything and feed it into the Ruminant environment as long as it has a time access and page ID. And then you also make sure to sort the time access by the values itself. That way, you're not having to do an extra pre-processing inside of the environment. And then this last 0.3 is just the percentage of overall memory allocated that has DRAM characteristics. The idea being is that the rest of it is persistent memory allocation. So you only need to provide these two variables, and then the environment is up and running. After that, we take our stable baseline models, we populate it with some good information here, and then we just set it through its learning loop. So I'll go ahead and run this portion. Kind of quickly access the environment and made it. And then I'll run this portion just to show the agent itself running. And these are reinforcement learning agents, so unless you have a supercomputer, expect that to take a little bit. Let's see if we get actual results. Doesn't look like it right now, but eventually it'll get there. For our purposes though, this is effectively how you use the Ruminant environment. Oh, we're getting results here. Ah, yes. So these are reward results that we're actually outputting here from the Ruminant environment based on the probability calculation as well as the action. So as you can see here, this is the action and observation space, and then this is so far reward.